What if everything you believed about reality was just a story you've been told? What if your identity, your purpose, your entire sense of self was nothing more than a fleeting illusion? Welcome to the strange, profound, and often unsettling world of philosophy, where we ask the questions no one dares to, and where the answers only lead to more questions. Today, we're diving deep into a philosophical rabbit hole that challenges the very core of human existence. So, if you're ready to have your mind twisted, challenged, and maybe even blown, let's begin. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the you you've always been doesn't actually exist. Not in the way you think, anyway. It's not science fiction, it's not religion, it's philosophy. And it starts with one haunting question. Who are you? Really? The illusion of self. Let's start with something simple. The self. We think we are a name, a body, a mind, a person with memories, goals, and experiences. But Eastern philosophies, like Buddhism, argue that this self is an illusion. Not a lie, but a mental fabrication. According to the concept of anatta, or non-self, the person you think you are is actually a collection of constantly changing thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. There's no permanent you underneath it all. Western thinkers have echoed this too. David Hume, the 18th century Scottish philosopher, famously wrote that when he looked inward, he found no self, only a bundle of perceptions, flowing like a river. Never still, never solid. So, if there's no stable you, who's living your life? Time, memory, and identity. Now let's add time into the mix. What if your entire identity, who you think you are, is just a memory? Philosopher John Locke believed that memory forms the backbone of identity. You are who you remember being. But what happens when memory fades? Alzheimer's, brain trauma, aging. When memory deteriorates, the self unravels. If your memories can be altered or erased, can your identity be trusted? Even more unsettling, memory itself can be manipulated. Studies show that people can form false memories, vividly recalling things that never actually happened. So, if your past isn't stable, and your present is just a string of thoughts, is your identity anything more than a story? The simulation question. Now let's really stretch your mind. What if none of this is real? Philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed the now famous simulation hypothesis, the idea that we might be living in a hyper-advanced computer simulation, like characters in a game. Before you roll your eyes, consider this. If future civilizations could simulate entire realities, with conscious beings inside them, then statistically, it's more likely that we're in a simulation than not. Think of it this way. There might be billions of simulations, and only one real universe. Which raises a chilling thought. Even your deepest feelings, your wildest dreams, your sense of love and purpose, might just be lines of code. But even if that were true, would it make your life any less meaningful? Freedom, choice, and free will. Let's zoom in now to the choices you make every day. Do you actually have free will? Or are your decisions just the result of genetics, environment, and past experiences? Determinists argue that every action you take is the inevitable outcome of prior causes. In other words, your choices were always going to happen. Neuroscientists have even observed brain activity that predicts a decision before a person becomes consciously aware of it. But on the flip side, existentialists, like Jean-Paul Sartre, believed that freedom is not only real, but unavoidable. You are condemned to be free, he said. Even doing nothing is still a choice. So here's the paradox. You may not be who you think you are, Your reality might not be real, your memories might be false, and your choices may be predetermined. But you still have to live as if it all matters. So, who are you, really? A fleeting thought in the mind of the universe? A simulated soul in a digital dream? Or a free, conscious being trying to find meaning in a chaotic world? The truth is, no one can answer that for you. But maybe that's the point. Philosophy doesn't give us all the answers. It gives us better questions. And sometimes, the questions are more powerful than the truth. If this made you think differently, even just for a moment, consider subscribing for more philosophical deep dives like this one. Until next time, stay curious, stay